then, so before we jump into Marc Ghehi, which is on the lips of every Newcastle fan, what's your thoughts on the transfer window so far? It's still not shut, but what's your thoughts so far?
Well, it would be nice to see Newcastle make a few more additions, but I think we're pretty healthy. Obviously, we'll get to Guehi, I think. A few thoughts on that. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough market out there.
Yeah. Outgoings is more important than kind of the ingoings for Newcastle. Anderson and Minte both leaving, both joining Premier League clubs, so you'll get to see exactly what they could have been. What's your thoughts on that as a Newcastle fan, and what are you expecting from them individually this season?
I think that it's a big miss. I think obviously Eddie develops players, and I think Elliot Anderson, could have been a really big player for us, but he kind of effectively covers Joe Linton, and he signed a new contract. So I understand the economics. When we seem to be wanting a right winger and we've let the young lad go, that seems like it could come back and bite us. But that's the realities of the situation. That's the financial situation.
We run a few Newcastle United pages, and when he was going, and people like Almiron and Murphy and maybe a couple of others, fans maybe couldn't understand that, but the price tag was insane that we managed to get from. Is that the only thing, do you think?
Yeah, you've got to, that's what the value is from others. They're younger guys, so they've got better value, and that's the realities. And as much as we might like to move some players on, if nobody's buying them, that's the market you've got to play in.
Yeah, and then also as well, Lewis Hall, we signed him, made his move permanent. Are you expecting him to be #1 left back this season?
I think he should kick on. The back end of last season, he looked like he was sort of getting it. I think if we do add a third centre back, if we do add Guehi, we might play 3 at the back, and then as a wing back, I think he'll be quite effective as well. So I do think this is the season that he should look to make the position he's on. That being said, I'm quite thinking I might start Tino at left back today and then Kieran at right back.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. I'll put it that way. As well, Guehi, what do you think we should move off? What sort of figure would you kind of think that is too much? That's the limit.
Well, I think this 65 million is probably the right price. Yeah. I would sort of stay at it. I know it's been a bit silly with like 4 bids, but maybe we started too low. I just think if we get this guy, he could be our centre half for the next 10 years. And when you sort of average it out over 10 years, the fee won't be that big. What would be a stopping point? Or, I don't want to say it in case the Crystal Palace make us pay it, but could be 70, something like that. Yeah.
If it was more than 70, you'd walk away then? Is that?
I think we should get him. I think you should, strengthen your squad with quality, and I think he is quality, and I think he will be a long-term replacement for Shaw. So whatever the market rate is, I think we should get this guy, and if that means right wing January or something like that, then so be it. But if you're going to get additions, they've got to be quality, and he clearly is.
Yeah. So if we got him, then just presuming no one knows what the facts and figures are with Newcastle's books at the minute. If we did get him, presumably that's no more transfers that we'll get. Would you be happy blowing the budget and that just be the whole window?
I think for this window, yes. I think, we might have a really good season. We might have younger players that other clubs want. So then you get into a situation where we have to sell and we get money coming in that way. So I think Guehi's the man. Eddie's obviously identified him. He looks the part. I think he should be a Newcastle player, and I think he wants to be as well.
Right, okay then. So before we touch on the $1 million question with Guehi, what's your thoughts on the Newcastle transfer window so far?
It could be better, but at the end of the day, last season we had a lot of injuries, so I think with this season coming, with all the players coming back, we've got a lot more potential this season, as long as we all stay fit. Yeah. But it could be a little bit better. Like with Guehi, we've dragged it on for a few weeks. If we move on, like say they wanted 70 million or something, we could use that 70 million for a centre back and a right back.
Yeah. So just a quick fire one between all of us here. Marc Ghehi, are we moving on from him, or you want to keep with him and let the price go a little bit further?
I'd say move on.
Move on, yeah. Move on.
Is there anyone you'd want to go for instead of him?
Is it Tomori? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
I don't know.
So with that extra money then, because Newcastle's kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit, because everyone knows how much money they've got, at least this transfer window now, what other positions do you need strengthening if we did get Tomori?
Hey, well, look at a winger.
A right winger?
A right winger, yeah. We're all right in the left. I think somebody else on the right.
Any names?
There's nothing out there, is there really?
No.
Unless you throw daft money at it.
Yeah. Rafael Leao.
Yeah. Anyone you fancy?
Just a forward, I think. We need cover for the front two.
Yeah.
We're 2 injury prone up there, so we need a forward.
Well, we did sign, so going through some of the transfers that we have signed and who's gone out and stuff like that, I've wrote them down here to make sure I don't forget anyone. Lewis Hall, he come in, 28 million, obviously made his loan deal permanent. Are you expecting him to be our #1 left back this season?
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. The other one as well, the keeper that we signed, thoughts on him?
I have no idea. To be fair.
They spent like 20 million or something on a third choice keeper, but it was for this financial fair play thing.
No idea.
The Greek one, that's it. Yeah.
Didn't need him.
Don't need him.
Didn't need him. No.
No, the striker as well was signed, a young striker from Sheffield United. Not prolific or anything like that. What's your thoughts on him?
I think it's a good move.
I'd say like obviously people are not really happy because of his stats, but you saw what Joe Linton was like, and then Eddie Howe changed his game of play. So you just got to trust the owners and what they think is best, and he could come out as a top striker.
Yeah. We had Kelly as well. We signed on a free.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah. Are you expecting him to get much minutes? It'll be like a rotation thing or what?
If everybody's fit, I think he might struggle.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with the problems we had last season, with all the injuries. Yeah, you could see you get a chance.
Yeah, and then outgoings as well. Been a bit of a farce as a Newcastle fan because we've let two promising young players go purely because of this financial fair play. Thoughts on Anderson leaving?
I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming at all.
He's going to be a good player in the future. Could Cosworth come out and home with that one?
Well, we'll see him. He's playing Premier League football as well. What are you expecting from him this season? Presumably he gets first team minutes at Forest.
I think it'll be good for us, yeah. Look what happened when Wood came back, he Cosworth. So yeah, Anderson will do all right.
Yeah, and then Minte as well, left wing. He's already had a good pre-season, scored a lot of goals for Brighton. What's your thoughts on him leaving, and then what do you expect him to do at Brighton?
The thing is, he never played Premier League football, but he's done well so far at Brighton. So it could come back to haunt her, but it's a dodgy one because he hasn't had a lot of Premier League experience. The only experience he's had is
isn't it, where all the rumours have been Bruno, Isak, all them sort of players going. They haven't. So if you've got to sacrifice somebody, do you sacrifice somebody that hasn't proven herself? So for me, I think it's good business. Yeah.
Couldn't afford to lose Bruno, Isaac and Gordon. Couldn't afford to lose them. So the younger ones, yeah, we could cover that. If we get somebody else in because of it.
Right, okay then. So we're here before the season kicks off with the legend that is?
Alex from the Toon Review, Stato.
So you know your stats, you know all the information, so very keen to get your thoughts on this then. So before we jump into Ghehi and get your thoughts on that, because that seems to be dividing a lot of Newcastle fans. Yeah. Thoughts on the window so far?
It's been okay. We've replaced a lot of the players that we released. It was necessary. Obviously with Botman and Lascelles out till possibly Christmas, we could have done with strengthening a little bit more. I know that people with reservations over right wing, with Miggy potentially departing, it didn't happen, it hasn't happened yet. It's okay, it's a C or a low B. I think we could do with at least one more in though, so we'll see what happens.
Talking about the players that come in, I can kind of list through some of them, but really a lot of them are going to be fringe players and rotation things. The only main one was Lewis Hall's deal got made permanent. Are you expecting him to be the #1 left back all throughout the season for Newcastle?
I think he's good enough. I think he's one of the most technically gifted players in the squad behind sort of Bruno and a few others. Technically, he's amazing. He's just very young. Anthony Gordon put him in his FPL team last night, so I think a lot of people are considering he's going to start, but we'll see. Yeah,
insider knowledge. He knows.
Well, just look at the FPLs; it gives a hint. Yeah, I would expect him to be in the England team by the end of the season. I would hope so, considering the left backs we've got available. So,
and then outgoings as well. This is the controversial one. Obviously, we let long-term people, Richie and Dummer go. That's kind of expected, but it was Anderson and Minte that kind of left the club. They've both gone on and joined Premier League teams. How does it feel as a Newcastle fan, them two going, and then what are you expecting for them this season, seeing them again in the Premier League?
It's disturbing, but it was necessary based on how the rules are at present. I do have Minte in my FPL team because I think everybody knows he's a very good player.
5.5, isn't he?
Yeah, he's cheap. So Anderson was always a shame because he's from round here. It's painful, but we've had to do it. Hopefully it's sorted the finances out now. I just hope that we're in a better position next year where we don't have to do the same again with players like Sanusi or anything. Hopefully that's it now. So.
And then as well, Ghehi then, $1 million question. A lot of fans that we've spoke to seem very Marmite on this. Some think we've bid too much already, some think keep going. Where do you kind of sit on it?
My opinion was walk away after the second bid was rejected. It sets a dangerous precedent if we're going to go above the initial valuation consistently for these big players. I love the player. I think he's a good fit. I think he loves the stadium. He's on record of saying he loves St James's Park. However, it's expensive. And there are players on the market for 30, 40 million, but they're riskier because they're not Premier League proven. So it's a tricky one. I personally would like to walk away as much as I like Marc Ghehi.
Yeah, we know you like your transfers. We know you have a lot of inside information. So who would you like to see if we didn't go for him?
Oh, that's a horrible question. I mean, there's a lot on the market. Logan Costa's been rumoured. Whether that's true or not, who knows? Is okay, but very raw. Diamande again, fantastic, but very raw. Yeah, I mean Ghehi because he's proven and experienced. The others are riskier. That's the whole point in them. They're cheaper because they're riskier, because they're not proven. So, gun to head, I'd probably say Ghehi for the right price, but we can't really get that. So,
if we did walk away and get someone cheaper, what are your kind of hopes and expectations for the rest of the transfer window? Because you think if they keep going Ghehi, that is going to wipe out their budget. But if they do go a little bit cheaper, maybe there's something to do somewhere else.
I mean, we're in a financial position where we can't take too many risks, because if we miss on too many transfers, we're going to be where Everton are now. So we've got to be very careful. I personally would like to see us go in for a loan for somebody like Trevor Chalobah from Chelsea for a year, and then revisit this topic next year if we can't get who we really want instead of gambling. I think it'd probably be the safest option. Depends if Chelsea would entertain that. They did a loan to buy with Lewis Hall, so they may be open to that again with another player.
Well, we've got 1 million players, so there's enough to choose from there as well.